Welcome.
Alright, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a long-term review, I guess you could call it. I'm going to be talking about the Remix, this is the V1, and the Rotor Riot CL1. I have two different CL1s here. One is slammed with 20mm standoffs, and one is regular with 30mm. Both of these frames have advantages, some limitations. I don't know if you'd call them disadvantages, but some limitations. They're better for different things. So first, well, let's talk about, since it's closest, we'll talk about the CL1. We're going to be talking about the frame primarily. So the CL1 is a really tough quad, especially if you put these little bumpers on the arms. I'll show you with this one. As you can see, this guy is filthy and pretty beat up. You can probably see that motor bell is, still works though. Anyway, if you look close, you can barely see any scuffs on these arms, really. I mean, the backs are like, yeah, I use skids and these bumpers, but I didn't use these bumpers for a while on this quad. This is, intended to be my beater. So these 5mm arms hold up like crazy. I just barely started to crack the bottom plate. You can kind of see if you look really close around the arms. If you take a good hard impact on the arms, it'll eventually crack your bottom plate. But I've crashed this thing a lot from really high up, and it has just taken it. This thing is a glutton for punishment. It is a freaking M1 Abrams in the sky, just without the main cannon. If you need a quad to just hold up, I will recommend the CL1 all day. This quad has been, like I said, it's been my primary beater for months now, and I don't hold back when I fly this quad. Like, if I'm afraid to do something normally, I'll send this thing, and if I break it, then I'm sad, but it's always a motor that gets broken on this thing. It's never been, I've never broken an arm, not once, in months. So I lose arm screws more often than anything else, and that's just because I don't use Loctite. So you just gotta check them every so often. So durability, 10 out of 10. Manufacturing quality, I mean, when you get it, it's nice. The edges are a little sharp just because they're not chamfered. It's a budget frame, somewhere around $40. But it's worth every damn penny. This thing will just fly and fly and fly and fly. So if you're a beginner, absolutely recommend it. If you're looking for something to just smash into walls and concrete, I recommend it. Great quad. It flies well. I do like the way the 20mm flies a little better. It feels like it tracks a little better. It's a little more smooth, I guess you could call it. Just balanced better, I guess. But either way, you can just thrash them all day. So now we'll talk about the Remix. It's a completely different animal. I know there's other frames that are similar. Gep RC, I think, is it the Elegant or whatever is similar, and there's other ones. But this thing flies totally unique, and all the footage I've seen from Remixes is different. With the cage being on the bottom, well, the electronics down here and the battery being closer in the prop line, it's definitely more balanced. Tracking, this thing, it flies like it's on rails. You hardly have to tune the thing. It just flies good, and especially on 6-inch props. On 6-inch props, this thing just is buttery smooth, and turns are just locked. When you have your rates tuned to where you're comfortable with them, the thing just flies like you would think a quad should. Inverted yaw spins are way easier for me usually on the Remix. They're just cleaner, they're smoother. you know, if you're trying to get that cinematic, flowy, you know, just, you know, if you don't want the props in, just make your GoPro mount a little taller. You might get a little more jello, I guess, but that's good for real steady the way I understand it. So there you go, you know, or fly with more camera tilt. That'll get your props out of you too. I personally, I kind of like the props, but this quad I've had for about a year. I've had this quad I built this one just a few months after I started flying, so I've actually had it for like a year and a half almost. I've replaced some arms, the 4mm arms that originally come with it. Sorry, Oma, though that was, you should have just went with 5mm from the beginning. But on the 6-inch, even with these 5mm arms, I haven't broken one yet, knock on wood. So hopefully we can maintain that. The top plates, you know, they get a little bit cracky around the back of the cage sometimes. Mine is a little bit cracked. Not a big deal. It doesn't affect the way it flies, so as long as you don't land too hard, you're good. And with the V2, they beefed all that up, so that shouldn't be a problem. The V2, like, there's some more fillets and stuff in the top plate that makes it stronger. It looks like a much beefier frame, but it should fly almost identical. So either one of these frames, like I said, I would highly recommend. The Remix, maybe not so much for your first build, because it is pretty tight in here, and because you got to flip the stack. There's a little bit more configuration. You got to remap the motors and stuff. That can be a little bit of pain for your first one. I mean, you can do it without flipping the ESC and that, but it's harder. It's tight in there. You only got about 20 millimeters and not a whole lot of room. So getting the stack, your VTX, and your receiver on there can be a little bit goofy. Definitely watch Ummagawd's build video if you decide to go with the Remix. So yeah, CL1 or the Remix, maybe not the best for a first quad. You know, build a CL1 for your first quad and then a Remix for your second one. That's probably, you know, build a slammed CL1 and then a Remix. There you go. That's what you want to do. Not super long, not super in depth, I don't think, but that's my basic thoughts on these quads. The Remix just tracks like it's, you know, a wire cam or a crane cam. The CL1 is, you know, about as indestructible as you can make a quad. If that helps you guys, awesome. If you like it, I would appreciate you dropping a like and a subscribe. If not, whatever, that's cool too. Otherwise, I don't know, go subscribe to PewDiePie or something. Is that still a thing? Whatever. Alright guys, hope you enjoy. Hopefully it was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you have any comments, drop them in the comments. See you on the next one, and be safe. Happy flying.